I remember to put my music off before we start.
You know, people's dogs is at home going nuts right now.
Oh, I know, definitely. Oh goodness, we are live now, sir. Um, got a little rainy over here. I see out in the chat. Want to say hello to some of our friends. Hamza says, "Thank God, St. Tedrick holidays are over." Yeah, Hamza, I don't know if you saw it or not. I did a video the other day going into the pagan origins of was it Happy New Year and New Year's Day or whatever. Well, I mean, if you're a pagan, that's fine. Knock yourself out. But if you're part of the Abrahamic faiths, probably shouldn't be doing it. Goes into Janus worship and all kind of other stuff. But that's for another topic. That's for another time. Shout out to Peace Dove out there. Says free Assange. Heart for Leonard Peltier. So definitely want to make sure to keep in mind all those who are going through the struggle right now. And while some people might be out having fun and enjoying and into their revelries, everybody is not so lucky. So just keep that in mind. I see Jira Brown in the chat and A Ross. She made it. She was here before us, so that is great. Says they took my notifications off like 3 times in the past hour. That shows you how much that they don't want what we talk about to get out. I brought it up with Sabby the other day, but I was in the chat, so I couldn't elaborate what I was trying to say about how they censor this channel. If you put in the political matrix, you can find us. If you type that in directly, it's going to throw in a bunch of other crap too. But if you are looking for any topics that we talk about, you will not. You can't just search, say Russia, Ukraine, and we're not going to pop up. Even though we talk about it, you can search Assange. Though we talk about it, we're not going to come up. Any topic that we talk about, if you type that into the search, we are not going to pop up as one of the channels covering that. That's what I was saying. So how are we doing? To my co-host, my friend, my colleague, my brother, Mr. Cy Lawson. How are we doing tonight, brother?
What's good, man? What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming through. You know, same old shit, man. I thought today was Friday. I felt like I had the day off. It felt like I had the day off from work. You know, the holidays throwing me off. But, you know, I mean, I handled my business, did everything I had to do. So, you know, started a bit of day drinking. So I'm trying to pace myself now. Still got a couple hours left.
Yeah, I see. We got a couple more friends out there too. We got Extra Bulla, Uncle Warren. Much love to Uncle Warren. In fact, I don't know if I have enough time. I might even just swing through there. I don't know. Send me the link. I might hop in. I see Yipper is out there. Mary is out there. Much love. Yo, Mr. Streets is in the building. And I don't know if you guys saw. Well, hopefully those who saw ahead of time, we will be having one of our good buddies, friends of the show, always welcome here. Mr. Steve Poikonen from AM Wake Up and Slow News Day will be joining us, helping us recap all of these things that have been going on this year. It's been a lot. I know a lot of people are live right now. I see Variant also hopping in, signing in. I see Least Bones. Hey, guys, Happy New Year to you all, she says. Oh, shit. Let me go over to Rockfin side. Go live. Good. Okay, boom. We're in on the Rockfin side. Also, we got 9 people in the chat currently watching over on Rockfin. See, Geo Pro has already graciously blessed us starting off this show. Says, any predictions for 2023? You will have to wait. We got some of those. Geo Pro says, I predict we will go into, we had to work with the information we had to reveal most of the COVID, what's a good word to say it? Not legitness. Without the government or corruption admitting having any fault. That is correct. They did. A lot of people walk back a lot of things they were saying. As time passes,
even as some of the things that we discussed in the past regarding the virus, shall we say, you still have to be careful.
Oh, you still got to be massively careful.
Even though you're taking what is public information and you're discussing it, et cetera. You still have to be careful because they still hunting and playing games with people. You know what I mean? So for what it's worth, you're never going to convince who you need to convince. You know what I mean? For us, it's good to look at the details of it too. But you know, as far as we go, it's not anything that I would think is like we didn't expect or see coming from 2 years ago.
Yeah. Also, let me finish the rest of that out. He says, as time passes, I get more concerned about the health of my family, my friends and family who took the science juice. Thank you for helping us with that, because I'm always personally hearing more stories of injury. Hope Daddy Gal report is wrong. I hope so. Also, I was gonna say that, like I told people before, my biggest worries is before any of this stuff, before I even knew any data, before I heard anything that T-Lab was breaking down and bringing out, or any of the other people who were around who were bringing this information, stuff that me and Chris were talking about off camera, my first thing was, I remember my cousin being involved in a bunch of research studies when I was growing up. And one thing, because of my concern for him, I started doing a lot of research into how these things work and how long it takes before you start hearing about things and how long it takes before things get FDA approved. So I might not have known science, the science on all this stuff, but I know how the process worked. And one thing I noticed, that the process and the way they were doing this was way different than everything else, and that was my biggest red flag. Also, another shout out I want to throw to Travius Harrell is in the building. Says, what they do, people. Happy New Year, everyone. So yeah, let's go on ahead. Oh, wait a minute. Let me hit this one before we get into the intro. A Ross says, did you see that Biden admin is caught out there with the FTX scam? Interesting. We'll have to delve a
Look,
little.
it was a money laundering program. He became the number 2 donor to the Democratic Party. So I mean, if you accept the fact that Biden is the head of the Democratic Party, then clearly he is financially tied up the wazoo with this guy and everything around it and all the money around it. They're not going to be able to hide from this. So we'll see how this plays out in 2023.
Yeah. A Ross says, your Rockfin channel is the shit. Thank you. Yeah, Rockfin, we can let loose and we can give y'all the show that we've been wanting to give y'all here on YouTube, but we're not allowed to. So let's go on ahead and get into the intro. Let's get this show kick started. It's a lot to get into. Like I said, Steve will be joining us, and we want to make sure that we don't go over too long. We want to make sure that our buddy Warren and Extra Bullet show over there, that they can, be able to start on time, and we're not hanging over on their time too much. So let's get it started.
You are here because you have a question. Really get down to understanding this political matrix.
There's a stunt double. He walked out. He's got an oximeter on his back. I'm like, you gotta keep Marcus said on his other show, he was like, American politics is simply pro wrestling.
You became afraid of everyone because people were reporting on each other.
We're living out Minority Report too as well. And you know why? You know why we know that, boss? Just we've been reporting on it. Yeah, I know.
All the black people in this country be willing to take a reservation.
That's what the Nation of Islam was asking for.
Put a couple of clips together.
It's crazy to see how much Martin Luther King really began to look like, damn, man, Malcolm was fucking right.
I mean, what is the elite's end game?
There's this assumption that as a black commentator or black journalist that you're not informed.
relationships. That's a skill we have to learn.
It's even more kind of mind-blowing because we're supposed to be the multicultural space.
Trying to drum up money to keep the war machine going so they can keep the donors happy.
Yeah. Do the Chinese own part of that?
Began a long time ago. Ukraine has had a neo-Nazi problem for decades.
Proof of sanction, am I right?
I don't know if Domcopters will do it, but something's got to be able to save the world.
From the private industry here.
You know, like I say, people come on here, they can say stuff they don't normally say on their own shows, which is fine.
Oh, it's McDonald's. Whoop-de-doo.
Ooh.
Their cholesterol is going to go down. Yeah.
Look, we only exist because we have the biggest military, kid.
And silencing a person like Julian Assange. Because it affects everybody. And today, last week, believe you me, because they know who you are. They watch. They got people that's going out there. They don't want you guys having the conversations that you're having on this show. Mm-hmm. So it affects the political matrix today.
All right. Now we can get the show officially started. I see Baba Yeager's popped in the building. I see Michael White. I sometimes wonder. I have a cousin, family member, Michael White. So I wonder, could that be family hopping in here? That who somebody's finally come over from my Facebook postings. We will see. But Hamza asks, where is Ye? I don't know. Actually, I'm kind of glad he's out of the media for a little bit. Hopefully he's okay, but he's exhausting. And whenever he's talking, he often takes up a lot of the air in the room. So it's a lot of stories that we don't get to talk about at all. I noticed that just recently, we had a couple of notable deaths that just happened, within the last couple of days. For those who are not familiar or missed this, we just had Pope Benedict. Pope Benedict just passed away. I mean, of course, he was up there in age, and it's not like I have much love for the Catholic Church, but Pope Benedict. Then we just had Barbara Walters. And then I believe, yesterday, we had Pele died. So, that one was a sad one.
Marcus, give me a minute. Be right back.
Sure. Mr. Street says Barbara Walters was a Mandela effect to me. Excuse me. But something else, Mr. Street, you just reminded me. Let me go back up to what Mr. Street said. Put this on the screen for everybody to see. It says 2023. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3 equals 7. 7 in the biblically does represent completion. So I tell people, man, it's a lot brewing. We're going to talk about that a little bit too. I figure since we're already talking about the devs, I had this link pulled up. And I wanted to go into it and share with everybody. So we can just remember, it's been plenty of a lot of big name people who have passed away in 2022. And so let me skip down to the bottom of this list. Get off my screen. Yes, collapse that. And let's start off at the beginning of the year because it's easy for us to just think about some of the people who are more recent. Well, granted, I don't know all these people, but let's just kind of go through, give a little moment of silence for some, remembrance for others, happy hellfires for others. Well, let's see, a little bit further. Okay, got you. I got all your messages. I will not be paying for the New York Times. And let's see. So here's a couple which started out. Our being a football fan, of course, Dan Reeves, that one jumped out at me. Sidney Poitier, I mean, especially in the Black community and in acting community, how significant, his contributions were. Bob Saget, that one was a very interesting one because of, Most of us grow up watching, what was it, Full House, and being familiar with Bob Saget. So that was one that definitely was notable to me. I'm pretty sure you guys will see some of these other names. Another one more notorious, Robert Durst, real estate scam, convicted as a killer. That was a big, big trial. That was one that, of course, we would definitely notice. Some of these other names I don't know quite as much. Meatloaf, he died. That's another one who was and then Thich Nhat Hanh, who was 95. He actually was one of the people who interacted a lot with Dr. King as far as peace activism, and so that's one to throw out. Louis Anderson, that was another one, big name. Alice von Hildebrand was a Catholic philosopher. So some of us who know a little bit about philosophy and follow theology, that's somebody who would have probably jumped out.
I see Sheldon is on the. I see Sheldon is on the list.
Sheldon,
just
Sheldon Silver,
his name
broker convicted of corruption. Oh, yeah, it's some
his name
good
goes
ones.
way back for me in my neighborhood. I always remember his name.
Yeah, and stop me if any of these other people that jump out at you that you wanted to mention, because of course I'm looking at this so I can't see as well. Weird. Jason Epstein died this year, and I believe Jeffrey Epstein died this year, or was it last year? No, Jeffrey Epstein was this year, right? I can't remember. So we had who else is in here? Do we see Ivan Reitman, big time director? Directed like a lot of us who grew up on Ghostbusters. PJ O'Rourke was a big time political satirist, which I follow a lot of politics, so I was definitely familiar with PJ.
Oh, he finally passed away?
Yeah, that was in February.
Oh, okay, yeah, he looked sick. I couldn't
yeah, he was up there in age.
And this list looks like it was like rappers like every month type shit, the way that they died too.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the only area that they missed. I don't think they put any. I mean, besides, I know that Takeoff is on the list.
Yeah, and they put a picture up of Quavo on ABC, I believe it was.
No, I think they got the right one on this one. But
okay, yeah. But I know initially one of them, they always fuck up when they come to us every time.
Of course. And Sandy Nelson, growing up being into drumming, he was definitely somebody which was notable to me. Who else? Let's go ahead into March. Anybody in here we're seeing? Because I don't know, and you guys in the chat weigh in also. Ann Flanders, founder of Details Magazine. I know it's a little bit before some people's time period. John Clayton from ESPN. I know Chris got to know this man.
Yeah, John Clayton.
I forgot that he passed away also. Let's see, Madeline, your homegirl here, Madeline Albright, or actually not your homegirl. That would be Anna Kasparian's homegirl.
Yeah,
she was the one that was so honored to meet her. I don't know why they have Princess Diana's picture over over him, but okay. I guess that might have been what he was famous for.
Pele just died.
Yeah, I mentioned Pele. Yeah, I mentioned the ones who just died. Pope Benedict, and of course, what was it? Barbara Walters.
Yeah, who's that dude who lived to 102? That's crazy. He squeezed the juice out of life.
Yeah, he did. I'm gonna tell you this. How my body's already beat up, I do not want to make it. Shoot, 102. I don't want to make it that far. But Gilbert Godfrey, remember Gilbert Godfrey? Gilbert Godfrey there. Art Roop 104.
Gilbert Godfrey. Oh, yeah. He talked mad loud and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Gilbert Godfrey, probably, in my opinion, one of the hardest people to impersonate. Let's see, who else do we got in here? Guy LaFleur, for those who out there are big hockey fans, he was definitely a big prominent name. Oh, you talk about 102. We got 100 here. We got 106. Good Lord. Naomi Judd, I forgot about her. You know, of the Judd family. Bob Lanier.
Yep.
Let's see who else we got in here. Fred Ward. Man, I didn't realize he died this year. He's definitely been in a bunch of movies which I've watched over the
Who
years.
they have there? Lil Keed?
Who?
Lil Keed. The dude from Atlanta.
Oh, yeah.
They said
Up and coming
24.
Atlanta rapper.
24.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably the youngest
It's some young ones on here too. I mean, he might be the youngest though on the list. Ray Liotta. That's right, Ray Liotta passed. We had another Cardinal die over here. Cardinal Angelo Soldano.
I guess they just going home. That's a home going for real.
Wow, I forgot about this. Marion Barber.
Marion the Barbarian.
Yep, only 38 years old. That's crazy because I look back, I'm like, man, these guys, some of these people on this list are younger than I am. That's a little scary. And especially some of them didn't. I'll let y'all in the chat give your theories on why some of these people are on the list. Because some of them definitely passed before their time. Yu-Gi-Oh! Creator Kazuki Takahashi. I know if Glory was here.
That whole estate must be at war right now.
Yeah, they gotta be. And then, I forgot about this one here.
That's the former prime minister. Oh, they go Buddy from what's that? Sopranos he was on?
Which one? Oh, James Caan. That's right. No, Godfather.
Oh, James Caan.
Godfather.
Him too. No, I'm talking about the dude James Caan. Top right.
Top right. Oh yeah. Tony Sirico. Yeah, The Sopranos. Jose Eduardo dos Santos.
Ivana Trump died this year too?
Yeah, you didn't remember that? Ivana Trump died, and
that's right.
Trump did the most messed up stuff.
Oh yeah, and
remember he buried her on the golf course. Yeah.
I love you. Here you go.
And then, of course, we had the Japanese long-serving Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. Beleaguered President of Mexico, Luis Echeverria Alvarez. I don't know if you guys remember him, but he, I believe, was present during a lot of times when the drug war stuff was starting to go on. So he was like rumored to be all involved in all kinds of levels of corruption. William Hart, leading singer and driving force behind the Delphonics. Some of y'all old heads out there love some real R&B, or those who don't know about it, I need to go check out some Delphonics.
But Philadelphia had the scene locked down with music, for a time being. Go check out their roster.
Yeah. And then here, always played a mobster, Paul Sorvino.
Oh yeah.
And then we had Tony Dow from Leave It to Beaver. He passed 77.
Oh, I don't even remember him.
You don't remember Tony Dow from Leave It to Beaver?
No, kid.
He was Beaver's older brother.
So I watched maybe like 9 episodes of Leave It to Beaver.
I've seen numerous episodes of Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah, it just didn't pass the test in the crib.
Well, but I lived with my grandparents, so we
No, I
watched
feel you.
Leave It to Beaver.
feel
We
you.
watched
I've seen it.
the Beverly Hillbillies. We watched Dallas. We watched what was the one when they were always talking about Mayberry? I can't remember what it's called, but yeah, we watched all of those old shows. We watched MASH. We watched all that stuff.
Yeah, MASH. You know, MASH would be on just because everybody fell asleep and you would wake up to MASH. I think that's.
Oh, my grandma. No, my grandma wanted to watch MASH.
Oh, no. See, you know, I got lucky. My grandma was into wrestling. You know, I was surprised as hell when she could tell me about Ric Flair and Sting.
Wow.
And I was like, Grandma? Like, so shit, we'd be over there watching wrestling. So we wasn't watching none of that, you know, if it was on, especially like the Saturday night. Yeah, that was tough. We sit right in the kitchen with her little TV and we watch wrestling.
And then can't forget Mary Alice here. Mary Alice, it says Tony Award-winning actress for Fences, but I remember her for being the Oracle. She was the second Oracle in The Matrix. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's
and then
right.
we had Bill Russell. Bill Russell died. You know.
Oh yeah. I mean,
what is it? I mean, how many NBA championships did he have?
11. What can you say about him? They renamed the Finals trophy after him, I believe. Or Finals MVP, one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the dude's got 11 rings, been to I think 13 finals or something like that. And yeah, and he had to endure a whole bunch of shit too. Especially think about it, he was an athlete winning for your team in Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh shoot, I forgot to put us on the side.
Like, spit on and shit like that. That's wild.
Yeah, but that's Boston though. Boston is definitely known for one of the most racist cities ever.
Yo, homeboy with the cowboy hat, I thought that was Ryan Reynolds for a second.
You said you thought that was Ryan Reynolds for a second? No,
in
that's
the cowboy
not.
hat.
Yeah, that is Clu Gulager, but he does look like Ryan Reynolds. I'm not gonna lie. Oh damn, Albert Woodfox, 75, survivor of 42 years in solitary confinement. Damn. Right here. Huh? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to go look him up and figure out what was going on. Over here, out here in LA, especially, this is a huge name and a giant. Vin Scully, voice of the Dodgers for 67 years. I mean, and he followed the Dodgers all the way from Brooklyn too, I believe.
Oh wow.
So imagine what all the baseball he saw over all those years.
Seen it all.
He's seen it all. We had Olivia Newton-John who passed. And then of course how can we forget about what happened with Anne Heche, how she went out and literally
that was weird.
A blaze of glory.
The story behind her weird. They made it seem like she was like a zombie afterwards. I don't know, but
I mean, Steve, and I'll bring it back up when Steve hops on, but it was a lot going on with that. It was a lot of theories that was going on with Anne Heche. But I'll just leave it at that.
I don't know enough to speak on it.
Well, and then going into that, that's a lot of weird stuff that goes on with Hollywood, of course. This one,
is that Mikhail Gorbachev?
Yes, it is. This is Mikhail Gorbachev right here, former Soviet leader. And then, of course, this one being a big one for me, Lynn Dawson, former Kansas City Chiefs quarterback and longtime newsman for KMBC 9 News. Grew up watching Lynn Dawson, you know, for most of my life on the news, and remembering him for the longest being the quarterback which led the Chiefs to their only Super Bowl until, you know, very recently when Pat Mahomes got us their second one. Ended up being something like close to 50 years in between Super Bowls, which, you know, so he definitely was a beloved man in the city of Kansas City. So this is getting into, that was August, and this is getting into September. We had Queen Elizabeth II who passed. That was a big one. ushering in, I feel like, a new age with King Charles.
He's another like corpse in waiting. He's in
yeah, we need to figure out who's next up because he might not be there that long. Let's see, who else do we see on here? There's a lot of people we can go into. Coolio.
Yeah, he had an unfortunate incident.
Died at 59. I mean, I have my theories and stuff, but we're not gonna spend our time going deep into all the theories on why some of these people passed or not. But let's just say we don't think everybody's is completely harmless or just died of natural causes. Hector Lopez, 93, player for former champion Yankees and early black manager, one of the first black managers before, or actually, I'll throw in black and Latino managers of baseball after the Negro Leagues. This is another one that was a young one on here. Pioneer of medical marijuana in sports, Elias Theodoro.
Who's the singer? Who's the singer?
The singer, which one? Oh,
To the
this.
right.
Oh, I forgot. Country music star Loretta Lynn.
Oh,
she was
I
huge
couldn't
in the
tell who that
country
was.
music world. Yeah, she was huge in the country music world. Armless farmer who became YouTube star Andy Detweiler at 52. Oh, Dan Wyden. I know you know about this guy. He was the ad man who came up with Just Do It with Nike. That's what I said. It's so many people that it's hard to fathom, and so many a big name. This one, there's another older show which I grew up watching my grandparents. Angela Lansbury died at the age of 96. Murder, She Wrote. And
Yeah, I've seen that a bunch of times. I remember that.
I think she had her last.
Back in those days, damn it! It sounds like it's a long time ago, but anyway, you could only watch with so many. You can only watch with so many programs, right? Depending on how many televisions you had in the house. Sometimes you just had.
That was one of the big times. She was at prime time hour.
Yeah,
on the major networks before most people had cable. And cable, of course, took
like
down
during
a
the
lot of
day
these
we had
shows.
to tape the soap operas. We was nice enough to like cut out the commercials for her. You know what I mean?
Oh, my grandma was already retired, but I mean, she was like retiring when we start getting to the age of knowing how to operate most of that stuff. So she was watching hers, definitely when I was like getting into my teens. And so we watched the whole like the CBS lineup. But I think Angela Lansbury did her last appearance was in that movie, The Glass. Was it Glass Onion? I think she was. She did like a little cameo in there, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, she was working all the way up to the end. Let's see, who else do we notice in here? Oh, Leslie Jordan. I've seen this guy in some stuff. But let's keep going. Oh, the Reverend Calvin O. Butts III. Familiar with him? Dynamic Harlem pastor?
Of course. If you grew up in New York, good old Reverend Butts.
I'm sure he was the butt of many jokes.
Well, I mean, I don't want to speak ill of the dead, of whatever. Live, man.
Hey, for me, when you are supposed to be a man of cloth and there's a lot of shady stuff about you, I don't really feel the need to hold back or be kind. So, but on that note, I'll skip past him and go on to the next person. Jerry Lee Lewis, rock and roll, pioneer and in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Also, should I say it? Nah, fuck it. Also, he was somebody who married an underage girl and basically nobody even made a big deal about it. Not like our man R. Kelly, but that's it. Let's keep going. John McVay was 91, key figure in making a 49ers dynasty. Let's see. There's our man Takeoff right here. 1/3 of the chart topping group Migos. And there's a bunch of different people, and I'll put this in the chat if you guys wanted to check this out later. Gallagher. I don't know if you guys remember Gallagher. He was the man who was a comedian, used to smash fruit all the time, preferably watermelons. I don't know what his problem was with watermelons, but that was Gallagher.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then this one, we just talked about him recently. Miran Karimi Nasiri. He was in his late 70s. He was an Iranian refugee who inspired the movie Terminal with Tom Hanks, because he was trapped living in the terminal. And remember, we reported that and everybody thought, oh man, that has to be a joke. He ended up dying literally in that same terminal. And then ironically enough, there's tons of people who are like living trapped in the terminal now for more than a week because of all the snowstorms, and with Southwest, their issue as far as something going on with their system. So that is something that's going on. Mimi Parker, 55. Look, a couple of these people are younger. Moody alternative rock vocalist. Louise Curtis, 55, activist whose lawsuit secured disability rights. So gotta throw some activists in there. Much love to them. Also, let's see, who else do we have? Because now we're starting to come up closer to a little bit more recently. Yeah, a lot of these people were not jumping out to me, even though all these people are definitely notable. Oh, Bob McGrath, 90, longtime Sesame Street star. He did a lot of voices for some of the puppets on Sesame Street. So wanted to throw that out there because I know a lot of people wouldn't know who he is. Paul Silas, 79, NBA defensive star and head coach. Kirstie Alley. I remember her. I mean, back in the day, even had a little crush on Kirstie Alley from the show Cheers.
I remember her from what is it? Look Who's Talking.
Yeah, Look Who's Talking. Yeah, that's right. She was the mom in Look Who's Talking. I was thinking 3 Minutes and a Baby, but no, it is Look Who's Talking. Let's see who else. Oh, that's right. This one, he just died. Known for the Immaculate Reception, Franco Harris.
Oh, Franco Harris. Yeah,
died at 72. And then I think I hear. Let me see. I think I hear our friend and brother hopping on.
Yeah, we got Trouble.
Let's bring him in. The Trouble. So yeah, we just finished getting into the end of that list, and it's perfect timing because Anne Heche was on this list of notable people who passed this year. As you can see there, we got Pope Benedict, we got Barbara Walters, Pele, all that in the last couple of days. But Chris, not Chris, but Steve, can you remind us? Oh, first of all, sorry, where am I, man?
What's up, man?
How are we doing? How are we doing tonight, brother?
Fantastic, man. I'm doing really good. It's good to be here. It's happy to see you both. Merry New Year.
Yeah. It's always good to have you here, brother. It's always good. And for those who don't know, I want to put it out there.
You're not going anywhere, Steve? You're not going outside?
Okay, first of all, this is Vegas. 2 people got shot like in front of hundreds of kids on Fremont Street last night. The strip is retarded. I don't go out on the amateur like drinking holidays. I've found that when it's like that, all of the rookies just come out and they lose their minds, especially Vegas for New Year's.
Yeah.
This is a destination for people to come get stupid and I got to go to work on Monday.
Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna join you. For those who don't know,
Marcus is gonna join us. Yeah,
I'll be joining Steve and Pasta on AM Wake Up. If you guys missed it, I was there last Monday. Had a blast. It's always fun going to go hang out with those guys. But I just went through that list of like a lot of the notable people who died last year. As a comedian, yourself who dabble in comedy, I was noticing Gilbert Gottfried. Somebody put that in there. He was one. And then just, your proximity to dealing with some of these Hollywood types in general. Because I remember you and Pasta, you guys went in a little bit about the Anne H thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, what's some of your thoughts on that? So people will know it wasn't quite everything it seemed on the surface.
Well, I mean, everything that's come out about it post-death what kind of confirmed what we all thought, in that it looked way more suspicious than what people were talking about. There was the video that was out. It looked like she was in that's Lord Evelyn de Rothschild died this year.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked like, or people thought it was a body bag. It was a burn bag, but she was popping out of it, and that freaked people out. She went to the hospital. She was put in a medically induced coma. There was nothing that really warranted that. But while in the medically induced coma, it was decided that her life would be terminated. And then there was the ever familiar immediate cremation. And then a few weeks later, a couple months later, it comes out. Everybody was saying that she was hammered. Toxicology report came back clean. All that kind of stuff came back clean. Did Bob Saget? Why did Bob Saget have contusions? His head when they found him. There's a number of inconsistencies. And then there's also a lot of overlap, not necessarily with Saget, but with Anne Heche and a number of other people in the industry that met early demises, who were working on documentary films or series that looked into human sex trafficking and child sex trafficking, specifically in Hollywood and the music industry. So and Anne Heche did that movie about chemtrails. I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah, and she was about to go in on Ellen. There was another thing too. She was on a podcast right before that, where she was like, "Oh, after we're doing this thing. It's given me kind of the inspiration to go ahead and tell everybody what I know about Ellen." And then what's his name? Twitch from Ellen's DJ.
The DJ dude, right? Didn't he just commit suicide?
Yeah. He died suddenly. Yeah.
Yeah, DJ Twitch. I forgot all about him. It's funny how the brain works. You brought up Helen, and that reminds you of the DJ Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he sure did die. That was kind of weird. The suicide thing.
Everybody was super shocked about it.
Which, I mean, I didn't really know much about the guy. Chris has to tell me about these people a lot of times.
No, him I didn't know about. But he was just like, the clips I saw, he was just kind of like, pardon my language, but like the happy dancing Negro with his family. You know what I'm saying? He made a bunch of Instagram videos. I'm not trying to shit on nobody. That's what his persona seemed like.
Chris,
so.
We shit on people. Let's just not play.
Yeah, I mean, but
it doesn't matter.
They had him out there. They had him out there in a Ukraine blue suit with a bright Ukraine yellow shirt on. Like
no respect for him. No respect for him. Sorry.
It was okay. So remember when AOC came out and she was dressed like the Ukraine flag for the cover of some magazine, and then people felt like they had to keep up. Like this was like early. I want to say it felt early. I don't know. The whole year felt like a decade.
Oh yeah, I gotta put let's see, I got Neo Algorithm in the chat. Yeah, he made a nice little diagram, put us in there. You gotta have AM. I don't know. Did you have AM wake up in there? I think so. You gotta have AM wake up in there. Say if I'm in there and AM wake up's not in there, then take me off the list. But yeah, I mean,
I appreciate it.
I mean, well, a lot of people don't realize, like, because you guys are giving them so much, and it's, you know, it can be like, you know, it can be like being a little kid and trying to drink a keg. It can be just a little much for some people.
And then
So
you found out like right as you take your first sip that it wasn't beer in the keg, it was actually moonshine.
oh goodness, a keg of
Now-
moonshine.
Now
That's
you got
death
it.
right there.
And now you're
That's
committed.
death.
Now you're in.
Okay, so there's one thing we could try to predict, right? Real quick, it comes. To
You
mind.
ready to go into predictions already?
No,
Okay.
just one real quick one based on what we're talking about. So, how much are we gonna give to Ukraine this year on the books? Like, do we say like over or under like 200 this year?
I think that there's going to be a significant pivot to China, and I think that we're going to see, if not overt withdrawal from Ukraine in terms of U.S. military support or NATO support. It's going to happen, you know, via like provisions in legislation or whatever, and people they're going to get abandoned as we realize that it's really Taiwan that needs that good old fashioned democracy and aid, and not Ukraine.
So we'll fund. So basically, we'll just take the hose and turn it from Ukraine to Taiwan, and we'll shower them with money then.
Yeah, and there's for a number of different reasons too. I mean, they're going to the Kabuki Theater in Washington is going to be GOP majority congressional led House investigations over and over and over.
Yeah, that's it.
So they're.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just gonna throw
sorry.
a little shout out to him, Car over there, and Angela PG on Rockfin. Notice them in the building. Somebody said Vivian Westwood, RIP her house. Westwood, sorry.
Vivian Westwood, she was a fashion designer from the UK, and she was a very, very ardent and like one of the only like proper society people who was like forever supporter of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks. She did a thing for an event a year or so ago where she made a human bird cage and then like locked herself in it as part of the protest that was going on because she can.
Oh wow.
But yeah,
that's pretty dope.
Very influential in the fashion world for a really long time, and actually had she was one of those people that probably like bought peerage, but she was a dame. That means for the people that means stuff too. But yeah,
I'm like, you guys can't tell by the way I dress. I don't know jack about the fashion industry. You remember what was it? I know Steve's not gonna remember because he's like, I gave up watching them back on the first one, but it wasn't like Fast like 35 when they're in Dubai, and he's like looking him up and down, and he's like, I could tell by your dress, you're tactical, former cop or military, you know. When he's talking to The Rock, yeah, that's me. I'm not the fashion guy. That's Chris over there. We're more like Tango and Cash, and I'm more Cash and he's more Tango.
I mean, I can't lie. I can't lie. I like to get fresh. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is.
And there's nothing. No, man, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that I have a fucking cowboy shirt fetish, you know. But they're like
the buckle and boots too.
I won't buy. I have boots. I don't like the buckles. You don't have any anymore. I used to have a few. They were for different whole different backstory.
I mean, you are from Indiana, so I mean, you can get away with it.
I am currently wearing cowboy boots. Yeah. Yeah, that's just. I mean, it's what you get. Like I
don't remember.
Hunter, I'm gonna unplug my earbuds, and Hunter's gonna slide in here too.
Oh hell yeah, Hunter's definitely welcome to hop in. I keep forgetting to invite Hunter on. So my apologies. I'm horrible. My fault for not having you on sooner, Hunter.
Oh no, you're okay. Hi.
Hello. So how are we doing? Oh, we are super. How are you doing?
We're good. We just ate some really good food.
What'd you have?
Fried chicken and cornbread and cabbage and
Homemade.
Yeah.
Who cooked all that?
Yeah, who did the cooking here?
Who did the cooking?
Ashley did the cooking.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I was waiting for Steve to be like, I did it.
No.
He was like, yeah, I did the cooking and I was butt naked the whole time.
Fried chicken in the nude. That's I would not. Kids under adult or professional supervision, under no circumstances, really, fried chicken in the nude. Don't do that.
Correct.
Don't fry anything in the
Fried
nude.
Bacon in the nude. No, don't like saute anything. I would avoid traditional methods of making popcorn that involved oil.
Just keep it, if you're in the kitchen, keep your clothes on.
Yeah.
And you don't drop the chicken from like a foot high at least.
If you're gonna be naked in the kitchen, at least wear an apron.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. That's so funny.
It's just good manners.
So you're saying don't do it baby boy style.
No. Or if you're gonna do it, only have like giant fuzzy bunny slippers or something ridiculous. Like
there you go.
Or like that. Or that better be for yourself. Like don't think about serving.
Or with a chef hat. Or with a chef hat on.
See, now you're thinking. Now we're getting somewhere.
You know what I learned the other day? That for every fold in your chef hat is a way that you know how to cook an egg. I know.
That's interesting.
Fun fact for everyone. That was from Teal.
Egg-based folds in the hat, huh?
Yep.
All right.
Look, so I just see something unsanitary. That's my thought.
Are you stirring the pancake matter with something different than a utensil?
Just keep your clothes on and no mouth breathing, please. Like,
I know.
Man, I worked in a handful of kitchens.
Oh, Shelly.
And she's a natural born Shelly. I asked her today, I can't believe I hadn't asked before if she was a Michelle or if she was a Shelly. And she's like custom, like from the factory Shelly.
That's so funny.
Yeah, dude. So then the immediate follow-up to that is that you do look down on the Michelles as the pretenders that they are. But I'm going to leave it to you guys to decide what Shelly said. Or you could find out Monday on AM Wake Up.
It's her government
name.
Yeah.
Well, most people say, "Hey, don't be calling me by my government." So, I mean, she's
I know.
Like, I own up to mine, bitches.
No, same. I don't really have a choice.
Yeah, because a lot of people would think there's no way her name is really Hunter.
Whether or not I'm telling the truth, so might as well.
Especially right now, like if you look up Hunter, there's a crack smoking son of a president. So
I know it. I know it. It's really come back to make for some really good tongue-in-cheek lines from people on the internet.
For real.
I guess I'm slow. I didn't even think about that at the time. Like, damn, yeah. When they're Googling Hunter, that Hunter comes up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on which. If you're using the liberals' internet, it won't.
Well, I just think like that had to have been a rough name, like when you're in high school, because like any dude that wanted to date her is like Hunter. What kind of girl's father names her Hunter?
I know, no, it really comes to a point of contention when they're like, yeah, I met someone, their name's Hunter, and their family's like, you're gay.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, damn it. I knew he was gay. I told you, honey, you shouldn't have been buying him those stalls and that kitchen set.
Well, name your kid Colby.
My mom said she named me Hunter so that when I applied, this was back in the 90s when there was a glass ceiling. And she said when I applied for jobs that they wouldn't be able to tell, that they would call and then they're calling for an interview anyways. They're not going to hang up on you. And then you just go in there and impress them. And I'm like, oh, thanks.
Damn. See,
I
my
do
mom
like
should have
my name,
named me
though.
Trevor. That would have worked about better.
Oh.
Call me Trevor. Let me think. What is actually? Let's think about it.
Hey, Hunter,
what is the whitest like upper suburban name we can all think of?
Oh,
I mean, upper suburban, upper.
Yeah,
suburban.
upper suburban.
Like,
We don't know. We can't just have average white. It got to be the cream of the crop.
You want this kid going to like if not the all white soccer camp, the one that has imports from like where Ronaldo's from.
Brendan.
There's that.
That's a good one.
Number one name that was on my head, Brendan.
Oh man, I'm getting flooded with names. But
I mean, they get away with a Kyle in there.
Like Preston.
Kyle.
Preston's a good standby for that.
My uncle's name was
there's
Preston.
always Cooper. There's a lot of Coopers.
There's a lot of
that are
Coopers.
They're in upper middle class, smarty
right.
pieces of shit.
Devin.
Devin. Oh, that's good. Fuck you, Devin. You little bastard. Let's see.
Stewart.
Ocean.
Ocean.
Lots of oceans.
Lots of Skylers.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, and Skylar's a dick too.
I grew up in Manhattan Beach around these people. I can fucking.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like, yeah, I know these fuckers. I grew up around them. I was immersed in a sea of these jackasses.
Yeah.
Tristan.
Oh.
Tristan.
Yeah.
And not Tom.
If you want to go like
Somebody said blanket.
short of naming your kid Code like Elon did, Tristan might be a winner.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Ryan.
Tristan Cage. Now that is an MMA. That's a mixed
Colby
martial.
Preston, Kyle Winston.
That's a mixed martial artist from East Cousin Hump, Arkansas. It was like a 17th generation military veteran going all the way back to, he's directly related to like Stonewall Jackson, some shit.
Yeah, I support Brass Mitchell.
If you're, shout out to Brass Mitchell.
And like I thought of one, but the only person I could think of with this name is probably like one of the most ratchet black people out there, Charleston White.
Okay.
Oh, that's a rough one.
He's like destroying the name Charleston right now.
When I was doing that character, his name was Sequoia Moorwhite.
Oh, loved
wow.
Sequoia Moorwhite.
Yeah.
I knew Sequoia growing up. I'll never forget Sequoia. She sprayed the whole class with mace.
Marcus, you watch his videos?
I watch it like, how has this guy not gotten shot by somebody yet?
Because I'm telling.
He literally pisses off. He literally goes at every community he can. Every community. He doesn't care about it. He literally makes death threats on white people, black people, and the whole Hispanic community. And I believe that has he not went after Asian community? Oh yeah, babe, that's a good one. Chester.
Oh, for sure. That is a white people thing.
It's a white name, but I don't think it's even been a white name for like 70 years.
No, but you know what?
anybody's
It doesn't
name.
even matter because a Chester the molester is always a white
That's
person.
fair. That's fair.
Ah, yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
That is right. They're
I
always a
have, I'm
molester.
sorry, but like the people truly that my mom has taken me around in my life who have been like, no, you don't ever leave your kids with someone you don't know. And anybody who's a stand-up person will not be around children by themselves. And those have always been Black people who have said that in my life. White people leave their kids with everyone. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, it's, and especially growing up in the 80s, like a lot of people don't think about it, but the 80s was like a heavy time when a lot of kids were getting touched improperly. And that was like prevalent. I mean, a lot of kids were getting kidnapped too.
Oh yeah.
Son, you gotta remember, man, the drugs at that time was on and popping, and the alcohol drinking. It was just a crazy time. You mix all of that, and it's gonna be a lot of
all of the rock and roll songs, and really a lot of the fucking R&B songs and shit like that were all about crushing underage pussy.
Oh yeah.
Well, age ain't nothing but a number. And then we talked about that. Hey, R. Kelly came up with the song. And then let's not forget, he just passed in 2022. Jerry Lee Lewis. A lot of people forget his wife was underage.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're talking about, I'm pretty sure Johnny Cash's first wife was like 11.
Jesus. Oh my God.
I'm pretty like, but
it's not even funny, but
he
yeah.
like just signed up for the Air Force when he was like 17, got the fuck out of wherever, shithole Arkansas he was from, or Alabama or whatever. And
oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think that he got married for that, and like the girl at the time, like she was like barely marriageable.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus.
But
Lord.
then he was in the Air Force for fucking 2 years, and by the time he got back, she was like actually legal.
Yeah, I mean, I think we forget like how crazy shit used to be. Oh, was that Chris?
No, I see Hamza's.
Yeah. You didn't know they used to hang out together?
Yo, so look, I ain't even gonna lie. He still get run in the crib. I still play his fucking music. Hey, this is what it is.
Well, in that, like what was it, like the 6 degrees of separation stuff? That brings me back to Ye or Kanye, because he's like, and who else can go and visit R. Kelly in prison? Like, well, anybody could if you wanted him to visit, but I mean, okay.
I know.
That was his excuse for like, and of course I can say great things about Hitler because Hitler was a great man. It's like, okay, all right, sure.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I'm gonna leave that one alone there, Mr. Ye.
So
everybody's wondering like, where is he? Where's he at?
We're in defense of Ye. What he was trying to say is that Hitler didn't get enough credit for his artistic or architectural side, which is a ridiculous argument, but
yeah,
totally something that someone completely disconnected from reality would make. Yes,
well, I mean,
exactly what R. Kelly will do.
Pee at you.
It reminds me of the Dave Chappelle song. I want to piss on you. I want to pee on you.
I'm gonna pee on you.
And he had that jar of doo-doo butter.
Oh my God.
Which, if you guys think about it, not that long ago, what was it? Lil Wayne, he had that song called Truffle Butter. You guys wonder what that is?
I know. I was thinking about that when I heard that too. I know. It's absolutely insane.
I mean, and then me and Liz were watching this movie earlier. What is it called? Glass Onion. And they kept saying shitheads and shit balls. I'm like, why do they keep saying that over and over and over? And I started thinking about it. How would you get shit ball? Oh no, okay, that's what shit balls are. You think about it, going in the back door, you might get shit balls.
It's weird to call people a shit heel if we're going to throw a placement at it.
A shit heel?
Fucking shit heel.
Oh my God. I've never heard that in my life.
Walk outside barefoot And just that feeling, that's the feeling that
Oh.
you fucking shit you.
I'm trying
Yes,
to
I
finish.
definitely heard that one.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. I took this show down a very negative
Yeah, I don't know where the
pathway.
hell we
Chris is like, "Where are you leading this ship to?"
We out of exit.
We were actually we were having a perfectly like rational and thorough geopolitical examination of finances where the United States was allocating them before this chick showed up.
I know. I ruined every stream.
I think that's where we were.
Anybody our streams. That's why it cracked me up when Boy was saying that we are scripted. It's like, if you watch our streams, it's impossible to script the shit that we say.
No, it's not. It's not the script, man. Marcus,
I think the accusation was like, at least for you, that because you could tell that you were reading off of a screen, like you've got an article up that you're in real time reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
were you supposed to take notes?
I know. Were you supposed to memorize it?
Well,
I'm like, of course, I bring up like for instance, when I brought up the notable deaths, of course I.
Memory or something like that. What they trying to say? You have eidetic memory. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the word correctly though.
Well, he called me the human typewriter. I'm the human typewriter because I just get all my lines right and I just go down the script perfectly. And that we're all like pseudo. Either we're what was it, Steve? Remind me. Either we were former military or Black Ops or CIA, and so all of us were like in that bubble.
Yeah,
we were all in that bubble.
Yeah.
And Ali was my command chief apparently.
There was a Jimmy.
They're gonna have to pay me more. What they're giving me ain't enough. So, like, they're gonna have to do something.
But you didn't know we're all filming in the same studio. Really, I'm gonna just walk right in there. Hunter, can you pass me the salt? I mean, that's really what's going on here. But there's people that believe that shit though.
And this is all before I actually moved to a place where we do a show out of a studio where people come in. Yeah. All of this is when like I was doing shows in fucking fields and on the side of the road.
Oh my God.
Lots, on my deck, and what?
Airbnbs.
A couple from inside the truck. Yeah,
it is what it is. You know, it's an outlet. It's therapeutic at times for some people.
I say all the time, man. I fucking don't do the show to change anybody's mind about anything. I do it to ease my own mind about everything, and it works pretty much every time. And if everything goes particularly well, we get about 3 hours of distraction from our impending doom.
Well, that's what we try to tell people all the time because we see what's coming. It's in. Everybody's like, oh, well, if we just do this and we do that, and then we can plan to do this, and then we can organize this. And I'm like, no, you got to remember that they already have all the means of our communications. So they would know if you are even trying to plan something. Also, they know how to fabricate the information to have one shoot going off this way and that way. So if they're like, you know what? We know that you have a big issue with, let's say, trans things. And if anything goes against the trans community, you're going to flip out. So let's put somebody in that group that we know that you're going to start beefing with over a trans issue. Or let's put somebody in that group. And then once they expose, oh, well, this person is big on this. Okay, well, Marcus loves guns. Well, Chris hates guns. Well, let's bring out that point. And then that's how they keep all of these people divided regardless to keep heading on where they're going. It's just a matter of trying to alert you all the best they can.
They can put anything on you at any given time. Like, it's really nothing. You see, they just picked up Homeboy. I'm not even sure if that was.
You're talking about the DTX or FTX? Sorry.
No, I'm talking about the other kid. The guy.
That was all fabricated.
Yeah,
you're talking about Andrew Tate.
Yeah, the guy
was fabricated.
Sign. I think his fingers are like permanently stuck like this because every fucking picture, it's just like I don't know if he's like if he's being sarcastic or he's just thirsty to get in the club. You know, I can't make up my mind, but it does seem as if they spotted him yesterday on some level. And I thought it was ironic that the name of the program that was going to get it, like it fell under, is called Greta 2. I mean, they just keep playing with us with the bullshit. You know what I mean? Just in your face, and motherfuckers on the
All
internet.
of that was made up, though. All of that was a hoax that came out today, or at least the human trafficking and the arrest thing. The thing that I saw was that he was getting quite. The video was months old that everybody circulated and all that kind of stuff. What I heard was that he was being questioned about some money laundering shit. And that there was a trans rights activist that floated the whole human trafficking thing and circulated all of that, and made the Greta connection and all that, and the Greta 2. It's all from this one trans rights activist. God, that was diplomatic.
Well, you did a good job there. I mean, and Hamza was he hit me up like right afterwards and was like, "Don't fall for none of this stuff. It's all a hoax. It's all fake." And, so I held my powder on saying anything, and I was like, "Let me just wait."
I don't know the guy. I don't follow him. I don't know what he's about. I've really just seen a lot of his stuff, like not a lot, but a couple of clips over the last, day and a half or so. He seems like he's one of those guys in the manosphere who wants like a million women to do whatever he wants, and he wants to pay. He wants to pay it for everything. All that
he ran cam girls.
I was gonna say, one thing a lot of these guys in the manosphere have in common, and I know they would be mad if they ever saw this. If you look, there's one common thread amongst them. They all seem to like dots. Seriously. They like young, easy to please dots. It is what it is. Those are the ones they're interested in controlling and manipulating and doing shit like having them, on camera to do shit so that they could get paid. They just want to be able to control them, so his whole persona looks like that. All of them do, quite honestly. If I'm keeping it real.
He has the advantage of his dad being a former spook. He was a like kickboxing champion. That's why his top of his head's so fucked up looking.
I didn't know. I knew he used to fight and all that, but his whole personality, the online persona, anyway, shall we say?
He's just repeating the same old tired shit. He's not telling anybody anything, insightful, new. And then the direction that he was trying to go, where he was trying to insert himself into the intellectual dark web counter narrative about COVID and the Great Reset and all of that shit. Like, it sucks because if your audience is 13 to 17-year-old adolescent boys,
correct, that's what you're driving with.
That's going to shape their worldview about shit in a way that's going to be incredibly damaging to people who are actually trying to do something effective about getting information out about there's going to be a whole cult of personality attached to the information, and that's what fucking just wrecks it.
I mean, we're seeing that more and more. The gods of the day are the politician, the actor, the rapper, the singer. We've seen this shit around the Meg case. Like, she could do no wrong. This shit is nuts. It's this, like you said, the cult of personality thing. It's either going to be, oh my God, we hate Andrew Tate and he's trafficking everybody from all corners of the world, to no, he's my hero.
Well, this is what I was going to throw this in here real quick. Mr. Street says he was showing the Pyramid Illuminati side a lot. What was that all about? Who he dealing with, or going with the plan? And I would say, just to throw my 2 cents, he is somebody who he had a lot of fame from his fighting career, and he was a good champion. I won't take that away from him. And so now in his retirement, he's just trying to find a way to capitalize on that fame. And so he's hopping on the bandwagon of the Illuminati, Pizzagate stuff, throwing the satanic stuff in there. So that's my thoughts. What about you, Hunter?
No, that's exactly how I feel too. Just with the whole culture of like younger trap, SoundCloud rap, and all of that, and they do it tongue in cheek, the Illuminati symbols, the satanic stuff, and I think he's just super misogynistic too. But it does go to that demographic. It does of 13 through 17 males who are just going to soak that in, just like kind of. I would say the older demographic of that was like Jordan Peterson, like the clean up your room. It's kind of in that same, like sudden fame, sudden life advice that's not really sound, and then putting in little bits of like, oh, I know something you don't know, and people fall for it. But I don't think he's going with anything. He's not really that big, I don't think, or global to be in the Illuminati. But what do I know about that?
Here's the thing. The influencer shit did come out of basically nowhere, and he was a fully formed entity out of that.
But I also feel like that could be like a Conor McGregor effect too.
Well, okay, but Conor McGregor is also protected by Disney to be allowed to rape whoever he wants to. Like, there's, so
you're right.
With Andrew Tate, if you're going from son of famous chess player / spook to where there's some element of that has been involved in your life since childhood.
Yeah.
The path was put before you to where you could, be successful in a professional sport. Your retirement from that is pimp, online pimp.
Oh, okay.
Your as soon as you go from a world where, let's be honest, there's a lot of fucking influences that are extra legal and also undercover in the fighting world. No matter what angle of it you're in, there's mob, FBI, fucking Interpol, all kinds of shit involved in the fight world. You're going from that to online pimp. The online pimp to everybody knows who you are as some sort of like reincarnation of alpha male fucking.
I know.
So
yeah,
I mean, all of these things, whether or not it looks like a similar pattern to other people who have been ran as ops or assets, or at least been elevated and knew on a level that they were being elevated through with the intelligence community or a powerful organization or what. So I would think that somebody like Andrew Tate thinks he could play both sides and get away with it. And those are usually assets that get out of hand and have to get dealt with. So if it's money laundering that he's actually going to get wrapped up in, that's usually how they get those people. Tax shit, money shit. It's not whether you sexually assaulted or imprisoned a bunch of women. They're going to drop that shit on Romania's lax webcam laws.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
But it'll be whatever financial stuff that they want to pin on him, if they want him to do anything, or if they want to turn him loose in another area while he's still, young-ish, they'll do that.
Yeah.
But he's being ran, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
I definitely agree. Your thoughts, Chris?
No, agree. I just think it's another something for us to look at online. Because offline people ain't really paying attention. Offline people don't really know this guy is like that. It's just for those of us plugged into the, inner part, just below the surface layer of the matrix.
There's a question: how long do you think before the collapse of the dollar?
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to throw that on and ask everybody too.
I don't think not this year, but how long?
It's my answer is complicated. I would say it's going to be, this collapse is to fuel to what the DoD has been working on as far as trying to get us off of fiat currency onto a digital currency. And this is what they want to do. Now, do I know if they'll get it done in 2023? I don't know for a fact, but I know that this is the direction that they want to push towards. We already see that China has already switched over to the digital currency. And this is part of the tie-in which they're doing with some of their operations working with Saudi Arabia. And so with the US on the other side of that coin and trying to do a tug of war with Saudi Arabia and still, following the petrodollar, I can't see how the US wouldn't be very close behind them. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anybody else thoughts?
God,
jump in on that.
I don't even know anything about the collapse of the dollar. I just know that.
There's a handful of different things. We're in the middle of a pilot program to get the wholesale side of the financial U.S. banking system on CBDCs. We're about halfway through that. The New York Fed announced it back in October. Right when a whole bunch of other crazy shit with the market started happening. It's going to take a bit to get the United States of America operating on a retail system with CBDCs.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. The overall market and the valuation of the dollar is going to go to shit unless, like, in months, it's going to start going to shit unless we can pivot from Ukraine to stalemate or Ukraine to China.
But do you see a Ukraine Russia stalemate, or because at the same time we see the ramping up between the China and Taiwan situation? Because I've heard some of the ministers in China say we need to get on this Taiwan situation before it gets out of hand, because we see that the NATO powers in the US keep funding them more and more, which, in that 1.7 trillion bill, there was a little nugget tucked away in there for Taiwan. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know.
Well, okay, so in order to get the fourth industrial revolution the way that the West wants it forward, we need to be in a Cold War with China. We need to. It's all about resource allocation. It's all about cutting off parts of the world from other parts of the world and then saying you're a part of a global partnership. And then it's about maintaining the mining rights for the raw materials that are going to power the fourth industrial revolution, the Internet of Things, the Internet of Bodies. And so there's a 2030 target date for that.
Yeah. I see. Yeah, everything is culminating to 2030. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we may be seeing steps to accelerate that process, but at the same time, there are other elements that are pushing back against it, because in order to make it happen, you have to collapse Europe. You basically have to collapse the US. You've got to put the entire, that Western hemisphere in a state of perpetual war. If not hot, definitely cold, to justify everything else that's going to happen. We're already, it's
not pretty.
It's a hard sell, is what I'm saying. So I don't like, we do, people accuse the show of being like a black pill all the time, and I don't. If it's your first few weeks watching, yeah, probably. But if you've been with us for a while, it's definitely a white pill. Like really, there's a lot of good that can come out of this, and it can best be summed up in the John Prine song "Spanish Pipe Dream." So just look that up on your own time. But I mean, there's time to turn off your TV and throw away the paper and go to the country and build you a home. There is. It's like what the housing market itself is going to implode in about 14 months. Just fucking implode.
It's insane here in Vegas.
Months. But I mean, so within the next year-ish, if you were looking to, and if you've been able to scrimp and save and take part in Cash Fridays like Catherine Austin Fitz told you 2-3 years ago, if that's been a part of your thing, you should be able to, in a lot of ways, help make yourself more sustainable and prepared for anything else that's going to come up on this. I don't think being inside something they're going to make a real push to turn into 15-minute cities in the next couple of years is going to be a good idea. Because that 15-minute city thing is real, and they're going forward with it like a motherfucker.
That's so scary.
Yeah, I mean, and me and Chris were talking before we got on about like stuff that he's seeing on his end, like directly within the financial markets. And I've been monitoring stuff that's been going on with CNBC, and like first time I can remember in a long time where I hear like literally most of the analysts are like, yeah, 98% chance we're going into a deep recession next year.
Well, keep in mind, this is all being like all of them. Remember, a lot of this is being very closely. They're playing this one very carefully, as careful as they can anyway. Because you see, they put the rate up, they put it down, et cetera, et cetera. They do all this, but then they just signed that $1.7 trillion package or whatever they just signed, right? And then the government just signed on for $1.7 trillion in new spending, right? Yeah. So they gotta do something about the inflation. There's shit you could do. So they're gonna keep playing with rates. They're gonna hold people off. So the housing market is going to collapse, not because people can't purchase homes or qualify for loans. The price is too high and the fucking rates are too high. It don't make no sense.
Well, I heard something about Chase also going through and buying up a lot of the houses in the Midwest region. And so that's going on to it. We talked about this. Berkshire Hathaway has been doing the same thing, and then also I can't remember which other billionaire out there was doing this too. We even had like Mark Cuban who bought a whole city, and then you had what was it, the Koch brothers who bought like part of a river or something crazy.
Yeah,
and
there's a spot in Nevada that's supposed to start up as like a factory town again.
Yeah. It's insane.
Yeah.
The housing market is insane out here too.
Living that worry-free life.
Well, that's what I think that like
the issue, the real problem.
Go ahead. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
A major problem, just on the street level, right, on our level, is that so you don't want to get a house right now because the prices are they're still too high. The interest rates are still too high, which means your monthly payment is going to be very high.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have to get your credit right to get a loan, right?
Yep.
Right, in most cases. Yo, what they doing about the rent though? They still got to pay rent. So and that's going up. There's no there's nothing stopping your landlord from giving you, the notice saying like, look, guess what? Next, when this is over, if you want to stay here, give me $1,000, $1,500, $2,000. We saw that like crazy over the last 18, 19, 20 months. That's just going to continue.
Where's Yanina at in Central Illinois?
Oh,
yeah. Which part of Central Illinois are you in? Because I know, like, if we think about what happened, because like I was a part of the Occupy Wall Street protesters. I did it as part of the Jacksonville branch, and we were downtown doing basically a smaller version of the same thing. Well, what they ended up doing is they passed a bill so that now they can get a lot of this stuff done without having to call these like congressional sessions. And it's a lot more streamlined. And so even when we're going into these recessions and stuff, that's the reason. I think it was what was it, Trump that was dumping these, all this money and trying to prop up the markets. And we weren't hearing about it. It's the same thing that was going on, was it like 2008? And so with this newer system, once they get into that, now that we've hit 31 trillion in debt, this new system, once they get everything onto this debt currency and get it off the fiat currency, and it's all basically on a computer screen, then they can easily just play around with the numbers, going into like the modern MMT. And this is basically a version of MMT, which they're doing, but that can only last so long. And we're only held up because of that, because of the petrodollar and our so-called military might. And so it's only a matter of time. We'll see where this goes. Oh, Chris, you're going to say something?
I was going to say, Chris Gilman in the comments, what did he say? Not to mention the auto loan bubble that's going to burst soon. Cars are getting snatched up left and right. That's another thing. You need a car. That rate is up too.
Yeah.
You get credit, that rate is up too. So it's going to force the people who have money just to say, all right, you know what? I don't have to spend it. Not that I'm broke or I can't spend. I'm just choosing not to. I can wait.
Mason,
so that's it.
You're funny.
And I was going to throw this one up. A Ross asks, what do you all see happen in 2030? Best guesses. And a lot of the stuff we're talking about is leading up to that 2030, but more specific.
Clearly they're gearing up for like more artificial intelligence. That's what 2030 is about, like really making sure that the foundation is set so that going forward they can really start to implement this even quicker than
but here's the thing with AI. I mean, we talk about it a lot on the show, but the thing that we do always try to remind people is that AI really so far off.
It is
for what we know as artificial, or what people conceive of as artificial intelligence. We are fucking years away from that.
Correct. Yeah, I'm not
like Kurzweilian, like the singularity.
Not anything like that. Like automation. I should say. And there's a little bit of smart, and
intelligence. And that's 100% correct, but it's going to be super fast algorithms that they're going to call AI. But instead of really what's going to happen, and this is why it could never be actual AI, what they're going to end up doing is training humans. You're going to be through advertising, through forcing people into social media bubbles and information bubbles, towards making it so you can only work certain ways. So you're only going to have like certain, work friends or whatever. There's a lot of like hangout components to life that is the attempt at any rate going to be eliminated. And so the algorithm is going to train you as to what's important, what you need to spend your money on, what kind of crap you need to put in your body, how sick you are at any given point, because you're not going to be able to tell. You don't know.
That's what I was going to say, was by 2030, I see a lot less good health outcomes for people. I see a lot more cancer, childhood cancer coming. Are we on Rockfin only?
No, we're still on YouTube.
Okay.
I'll say let me know if you want us to
No,
switch over to
okay.
Rockfin, because we can switch over to Rockfin, because Hunter, while you were mentioning that, what's been in the back of my mind is the simulation that's been recently done. And I know you guys remember Event 201. Event 201, and then all of a sudden we had a C-19 happen. Well, Bill and Melinda Gates are up to it, and they have a new one, and they've kind of like course corrected a little bit and threw in, oh, well, we need to pay more attention to get the religious leaders involved, and we need to listen more to some of our pushback. And so what they're doing is they're just trying to find a way to craft the argument better. And so those of us who pushed back against the stuff that they were trying to push, how can they minimize us more and take away more of our argumentation to delegitimize us and make us seem as irrational for not going along with the science? And so that event, the new one, and which, believe it or not, they have taken it down from YouTube. No surprise, but I think, was it Redacted? I saw the other day, they still have it, a portion of it up. This is saying in the simulation, it was going into that this is supposedly might happen around 2025.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about on the show. And then there's another one that goes, what is it again, Steve? What are the years again?
So the one you're talking about is the catastrophic contagion. That's the one that just happened.
Yeah, with the Sears.
And that goes from 2023 to 2025. And then
There
the
you go.
SARS pandemic, where they like lay out like, oh, this is going to happen under a Democrat president, so there's going to be an uprising of right-wing domestic terrorists, and these news channels are going to be, they have like knockoff names of actual independent media outlets and stuff. Like, you game this out, but that's 2025 to 2028. And then we'll have another exercise this coming year that's going to go from 2028 to 2030 or something like that. And that will be, and again, this is just, sometimes the nails,
psychologically, there's going to be a lot more, there's going to be a lot more dependence on the government too going forward. Right.
Well, that's what all of this stuff is all tying into. They need to have much more reliance and trust in the government.
They're getting what they want, right? Because think about it on the business, think about it on the business side, right? You want to increase profit. What do? Automation, right? The less amount of people you can have operating at your business or doing whatever your business is on your behalf, you can take that away. That increases profits, it makes you way more attractive. So we just have to keep in mind that businesses, small and large, are going to continue to look for ways to remove humans from whatever equation that they got going on. The government at some point is going to have to step in, because a lot of these people are going to be applying for benefits.
PPP loans.
This is what we see, what we talked about before with the UBI and shit like that. To me, this whole reparation shit in California just seems like it's going to be used as like the American version of UBI.
Reparations. I'll tell you.
And it seems to me
all it is political ploy. It's just a political ploy. That's all it is. They've noticed the numbers here in California that the Black population, especially the younger Black population, has more or less started opting out of the political system. And they're just trying to find a way, because they know that the voters are getting older, the Black populations that normally supported them, and they're losing a lot of support in the Latino and Hispanic areas. Some of them are more going towards the right. And so they're just trying to shore up the Black base. That's what's happening there.
Well, the Latinos and the Mexicans want to be this generation's Italians so bad. Like, they want to be the next fucking assimilated white so bad. So bad. Oh my God. So bad. They're the blue collar America right now. I think we talked about this at some point. But they are. Like, the Latino community, Mexican community is largely, predominantly doing a fuck ton of legitimate blue collar jobs. And I think that as there's been a major push to Americanize in a giant swath of that community, and as they're seeing what has conflicted throughout centuries with traditional values these people have in their families being
Religion too.
Yeah,
Mexicans are
yeah.
super religious.
Yeah, they're going to be more and more likely to, as long as they're caught up in a two-party paradigm, to be like, we have the opportunity to at least take control of our schools, churches, this, that, blah, blah,
Especially
blah,
when
blah.
all the campaign ads are now in Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, and what they're
So I'm
doing
saying that
is
tongue in cheek,
they're
I mean, I do fucking mean that. And if I was saying it on stage, there would be people laughing.
and the Mexican population, especially speaking for California, they're starting to go the way of Texas. Whereas you still have that. I don't care how like maybe kind of more left that they might seem, as long as you still have a heavy affinity that is anti-abortion. The Democratic Party is not going to. It's not going to appeal, no matter all the other stuff. A lot of times it comes down to that one issue, and most voters in general are single issue voters. Let's be real. But when you still have that issue, and they're seeing that heavily out here, and like you guys both said, there's a huge strain in the Mexican population who want to be that Italian, kind of want to coalesce with the white community, that's going to send more and more into the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party out here knows that. And then the Spanish language commercials, it's being seen for what it is, straight out pandering, and so it's having the opposite effect. It's turning people off instead.
That's good to hear, because it's hard when I'm not like in California or Los Angeles, like South Central or Long Beach too often. It's hard to see how things are being perceived out there when I see them here in Vegas. So that's good to hear that people are getting turned off by it, because I'm like, oh my God, I show everyone the campaign ads. I'm like, look at this. They're literally saying you would be loco to vote for him. Would you invite him into your house for horchata? I'm like, what? Why are you talking to them like that? It's so weird.
That's so cringe.
I gotta hop off and get ready to go to family's house.
We're actually
about that time too.
Okay. But it was definitely good to have you all, have you both on here, and Hunter. We gotta make sure to have you on more often. Steve knows whenever he hops on, you can definitely hop on too. But we can get a time to just have you on, chopping it up with us. Also, it was great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on the show when I wasn't on, but on last Monday, right? Yeah.
He'll be on.
And then I'll be on Monday.
Oh yeah.
And if you got the day off, Chris, pull up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, yo, hold on, I'm off Monday. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Then we can have the political matrix scheming up. Oh, that'll be a nice crossover. And Chris, it's Hall Rock Fan.
Oh yeah, and it's in the morning.
Well, for you, it's kind of like late morning, right? It's kind of going towards afternoon.
Yeah. It doesn't start until 10 his time.
Yes, 10 his time to 1 in the afternoon. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, it's gonna be a good crossover event. That'll be cool to have.
Hell yeah!
So definitely looking. Oh, wait a minute. Before you both go, predictions for 2023. Like, give us like at least a good 2 or 3. What do you got? What do you both think is what we need to look forward to?
Usually, my only prediction is that it will only become more absurd, and so far I've been spot on with that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
But I really do think we're going to see people faced with the reality of digital currency being pushed on them against their will, and I do think we're going to see a rise in like an unbanking movement.
Yes.
And I think that people are going to be reverting to more traditional methods of currency, at least in the streets, and on a number of levels, to where people that actually make the country work aren't going to be playing in that space anymore. And so I think that there's a real chance to if not opt out, then like start to pull away.
Yo, Hamza, man, you sick.
I think we're gonna see a lot more people pull their kids out of the educational system.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see a lot more different alternative health and education for kids and communities becoming a little more tight knit, and the mixing of ages. I personally think that's really important. That's something that needs to be happen in the schools. I think yeah, it's gonna get more absurd. It's gonna be wild.
Collapse of the mainstream media is gonna take place for real in 2023, which means the wholesale capture of the independent media is gonna take place for real in 2023.
I think there's gonna be more of a push for the younger generation to believe that they have multiple personality disorders on the internet, just to take them away from a whole plugging into what is really going on. Because I think there was a small amount of time on TikTok or whatever on the internet where 15, 16, 17-year-olds were starting to pick up on what was going on. And then they injected absurd things into it and cut that shit off immediately. Because they were even starting to talk about building communities and stuff with each other. And it's just not going to happen.
Nope. I completely agree. Any plugs you guys want to give?
AM Wake Up Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Time, Rockfin and Rumble. No Slow News Day tomorrow. Glory's hanging out with Grandma. We'll be back the following week with episode 400 and hopefully Reverend Annie. And then tomorrow night, we are going to have a Blunt Force Wisdom, which is a show that I do with my friend Sugar up in North Vegas. So we're going to do that tomorrow evening-ish.
And that'll be fun.
Or
Everyone
afternoon-ish or something like that.
Everyone should tune in for that. It's not political, but it is with the sentiment of the craziness that is this society. And it's so good. It's absolutely great.
You have to be kind of a degenerate to appreciate it, but that's who we were talking to anyway. So if you're not, it's not going to make any sense.
They talk about like past relationships, past traumas, how it affects you now, the craziness of what goes on when you're trying to meet people. It's so good. I love it.
Why people can't fucking talk to each other
exactly
like fucking adults anymore. Fucking
talking about. Well, I don't know if you guys have talked about the cancel culture and how that affects.
Not really, but we have gone in on like why there's an entire generation of like total bitch asses. And how they could maybe not be, or certainly be less bitch assy.
But with love.
Yeah. And blunt.
With the love of a good back fist. Well, I completely agree with.
Sometimes the political shit is just such a dead end, right? At least talking the process of politics, the process of governance. You know, all that shit it's look, we've seen the cycle so many different times. You know what I'm saying? They're about to the media is about to be using all of the Obama, what would that be, 2012 midterm language. Oh, you can't do anything. Republicans have control. Like they're just literally about to blow off that playbook and just remix the names and shit. And that's what we're going with. I know. Hamza wild. He said, Kamala. He said, Kamala going for dick. Yo, Hamza, you won't want tonight.
She's out there packing like an actual Kevin Hart dick.
Oh my god.
There's no such thing as toxic.
Look big on Shaq, but on Kevin Hart, it's like
I mean,
yeah.
Look, you're either an asshole or you're not. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
It's the kind of dick Kamala Harris would have. For sure. Fucking rolling that shit up and tucking it back.
Well, thank you for having me on, you guys.
That's why
it was our pleasure.
She got a really dick up her ass all day long.
Oh my god.
That's why she's not a great communicator.
That's why she loves Venn diagrams.
Venn diagrams.
Yeah.
Right. All right, y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
All right.
Happy
Y'all have a good
New
night.
Year.
Happy New Year, guys. Thank you so much for having us on. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. See you
You
Monday.
know, always a pleasure. It's always good to have you guys on anytime. And you guys know, Saturday night, just let me know anytime y'all want to hop on.
Hell yeah.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
man. Take care, you guys.
All right. And so I was seeing a couple of chats that I wanted to get to. Where was it at? Nina, she put
Marcus bathroom break. Be right back.
Gotcha. I'll take it. So biblical prophecy says the Euphrates River would dry up, and it's happening in end times. I do lean on a lot of the end time biblical prophecies for those who do not know it. I see a lot of it tuning up. I don't know if this prophecy that I'll have is necessarily for 2023 or if it will be after 2023. Whew. Sorry, but what I see happening is, as I look around at just the landscape, we have the Russia-Ukraine thing, which I feel like is only going to heat up or freeze up, depending on your perspective. Going into January and February is going to be the time when it's going to be some of its colder months, and it's going to be a time which I think that they are going to. Hamza. Well, talk. I don't know. I'll try reaching out to Owen again. I'll see if he wants to come on, and maybe or just the interview. Maybe we'll talk some prophecy stuff. Or I don't know. I'll check and see what he'd like to talk about. I don't know. Or if you're in his feeds, just keep hitting him up and barraging him. Tell him to have me on his show. Either way. But I'm looking at the landscape of things. And I see no way that this thing de-escalates with Russia, Ukraine, especially after Zelensky went to the Capitol and made his little speech on the floor. And Russia has kind of alluded to that. I don't know. With Gorbachev dying, I don't know. Maybe if that's some kind of a weird sign of things, not saying it directly ties anything, but a sign of the old Russia days are long gone, of the cooperation with the United States. That could be, a metaphorical thing put out there. But at the same time, I see the China and Taiwan situation heating up. North Korea is been heating up more and more against South Korea, and South Korea is talking about being more defensive. You also look at what King Jordan said about Israel. If Israel started pressing more and more on these expansions and settlements, and if they touched the Al-Aqsa Mosque, some of the things that he's alluding to, and I think that it would take for something of that magnitude for those Middle East type states, outside of say UAE and Saudi Arabia. It all depends. I think it would have to get to a bigger situation than just it would have to get to an Al-Aqsa Mosque type situation. Which I honestly think that, that might sound like that's far-fetched that they would go that far, but I think it's possible. We all know that that's kind of what Israel's goal has been, to take over the whole entire, land of Palestine, and eventually push as many Muslims out as possible. So, King Jordan is said to be a descendant all the way back to actual Muhammad, and I don't see how the Muslim population goes quietly into the night over something like that. I do believe many of them that would be something where they're like, you know what, we're willing to die as a whole entire nation over something like that. So I think 2023 is going to be about belligerence of people in power. I think that it's going to be more about forcing their will, no matter if people agree with it or not. And that includes on us. I think that even though the economy might suffer and a lot of the mass population are going to suffer, the elites are going to be more in that, oh, well, it ain't me, I'm still good, who cares kind of mentality. I think it's going to get a little bit more dystopian. So, I mean, somebody said in the chat before, hate to be the, doom and gloom. And Steve says it all the time also, hate to, be the bearer of bad news. It's just, I call it and he calls it, and Chris, all of us call it how we see it. We don't always necessarily agree, but we're just calling it how we see it. And if some of the news happens to not be, pleasant or flattering to everybody, I mean, apologies, but I mean, it is what it's what we see it as. Who else did I miss in there? I mentioned Russia, Ukraine, Taiwan, China, North Korea, South Korea. Yeah, I think it's something else that I'm missing involved in there. Oh yeah. With some of this automation stuff, I mean, Sabby showed it on her channel the other day, how they already had the first completely automated McDonald's. If they're able to get things like that done, then I don't see why that technology wouldn't expand across the country. And they no longer actually need people to do it. Oh, South America. I did not bring up South America. South America, there are a lot of tensions as far as the governments and controlling bodies and throwing leaders into jail and charges and stuff like that. And so it's only a matter of time before you start seeing, more protests. Like, well, there's already been a bunch of protests, but start seeing them rise to the point of like what was going on in Pakistan. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. So that's kind of been a laundry list of some of the stuff. I think that recession is definitely coming. And I've always said if we get into another recession, it's going to be to the level of a depression. But if they're able to get this cryptocurrency stuff all online, they can start transferring money and flooding it into the overnight markets, and we don't never even see what's going on. Says Bolivia Revolution 2.0. Yeah, but I think we could see that in other places. I don't know if it would be an actual revolution where they succeed. I just see chaos coming. I don't know. Chris, your thoughts?
Revolution? Look, yo, people still wearing masks, kid. Like, if COVID didn't show you, if the last 2.5, 3 years didn't show you anything, it's just that most people will be compliant. They do not want to rock the boat. They will go along with what, whatever authority speaks or issues of, issues, whatever. Most people are going to go along with the authority. They'll even start to snitch on you and maybe some of your family members. South America, though, Yipper, I don't see that either because, I don't see that happening. We're not ready for that. And neither are they in South America. They're not prepared to do what it takes. You would think after so many of the people they so-called like politically keep getting brought up on charges, removed out of office in all these different, countries, something would have happened already. As we move forward, I think the chances of that happening are less, not more.
Yeah, Yipper was saying South America, not U.S. Yeah, I definitely, I said it before. I remember I said it because I rewatched the last year's show, and I was like, Americans are just too. Americans think that they're about that fight. They think they're about that life, but they're not.
COVID showed us, kid. They will listen to anything and everything. Who said what?
Yeah.
You don't even have to be a doctor on a medical thing. It's just a rich white guy showed up on TV and told me that, this is what I should do. And so many Americans followed it. So many people all over the world followed it.
Well, and this is why I think that they were saying, yeah, not America, like Thomas is saying here. Says the far right in Santa Cruz is trying to violently uprise against the Mas Party and indigenous majority. This time, the left is clamping down hard on the colonizers, and that's what I'm saying. Outside of the U.S., because the governmental structures aren't necessarily as strong as here. And they're also some of the nation is not as vast in some of these countries. It may be a little bit easier. Also, you don't have it's not as splintered in some of these countries as it is here in America. So I think it's more possible that you see some of that stuff. I mean, you had stuff that was going on in Chile, Peru, Brazil. So there's all the tenets for it. Just we'll see what comes.
Let's also keep in mind the United States. Anytime we have seen a leader who even remotely steps out of line, you know what I'm saying, or whoever continuously steps out of line, as in the case with Noriega, they'll only let this thing get so far. They will step in some way, somehow, and it'll be through the either money, weapons, planning, what have you. In some kind of way, we will make sure that a Bolivia, like a revolution in the spirit of like Bolivar, won't happen again.
Well, not here.
And I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying the people who are most against that are fearful of that, and they're watching for that to make sure that can't or doesn't happen. You understand? Or if it does, it's as weak as possible.
Yeah, I just think that all of these things are. I think and also I think another thing that's going to happen. Like a lot of people focus on 2030, and I often dabble with it also, but at the same time, I do believe that things are being accelerated. And so we can see the possibility of things that were predicted for 2030 actually happening sooner. That's what I would say. I think that some things that people plan to achieve might happen sooner, and some things which people plan to achieve might not happen at all. Because all it would take, honestly, is for actual war to break out. All it would take is for Yipper said, Chris, stop ruining my high.
My bad, yeah, bro.
I think that it's. I mean, like I say to people all the time in the chat, everybody tell me what would happen if the power grid in your city went down for an entire week. Entire week. I mean, so let me know in the chat what do you guys think?
That wouldn't be good after a couple hours, quite honestly.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and let them know what would happen there in South Florida.
Oh, it's going down. Oh, there's gonna be a bunch of spots hit, and a bunch of people got guns. Yeah.
That's the thing. They have guns, and that's the issue. Let me put this comment in the chat. Hold on. I just think that there is, since we're shaping up for an election year, there's going to be a lot of tricks that are going to be going on. I think Chris's prediction from last year might get actually close. That Mr. Biden might not make it. There's a possibility. I'm not for sure saying that. Uma said in politics, it's all done for power and benefits, so no one does it for humanity or solves any problems. Yeah.
Correct.
Let's see. Hamza says, who wants to hear more wild predictions for 2023? I do. Please give it to us. Oh, yeah. It happens in countries like India and Pakistan. Exactly. So I don't know why it can't happen in South America. Angelica says, that is already happening, especially with the current weather. Yeah, I mean, start throwing these weather predictions in there. Like last year, I look back to my comments and I said that, you know, the Democrats might be in a whole lot of trouble. We might see a big time red wave. Well, they didn't do that great in the midterms, but here's what I didn't factor in. I didn't factor in I didn't factor in the Roe versus Wade stuff. And my point is, there's going to be things that we can't see coming that can throw a monkey wrench in everything and completely change up something. And I think that there's going to be plenty of them coming. I say all the time, if we just look at the trajectory of, say, I don't know, think of the year whenever you were born, anybody out there. If you're born in what, the late, I don't know, to the youngest person here, maybe early 2000s, you know, to somebody who was born in the 90s, to somebody who's born in the 80s, to some who were born in the 70s or 60s or even 50s or 40s. I'm not sure. Could be some people who are more senior listening to this.
You know what?
Look at the trajectory of the country from the time you were born till now. That's all I will say.
You know what, too? We keep trying to make it individually. This is the time we really should be looking collectively where we at, right? As a group, because the prices, the food, everything, like we're all barely scraping the surface. You know, I won't speak for everybody, but you know, people are working. Well, you know, Hamza. Yeah,
oh man, I don't know what Hamza is sipping on over there. Straight down. That's the trajectory. I mean, like I started with I remember a couple of the movies, when it really caught my attention that something was going on. I don't know if anybody remembers the show Parker Lewis. Ah, man, let me pull it up on the screen because some people be like, man, that wasn't a real show. I've even had people who were around that time period that don't remember the show. It's called Parker Lewis Can't Lose. Do you remember that?
That should sound familiar. Did I used to watch that?
I'm telling you, we all used to watch that back in the day. And nobody remembers this show. Let me put it on the screen. And this is what alerted me to the whole issue of what was going on with the whole kidnapping thing. This is Parker Lewis. This was the show. And it was kind of like a low budget Saved by the Bell.
That's right. I do kind of remember this show.
It was a little funnier. And the main kid here, this kid right here in the middle, he was more like the Zach Morris. This is like a Screech. You have Big Kubiak here, which Kubiak would have been like a mixture of like a Zack Slater, but not really smart. He was like Zach was kind of like smart and cool, and the girls liked him, and he was like Zach's kind of competitor. But Kubiak was just like the big muscle. Then you had the principal, the female principal, instead of like Mr. Belding that they were going against. And like his love interest, that was like Lisa Turtle there. I mean, so it was all kind of like basically a low budget. There we go. Travis remembers. Says, I remember Parker Lewis Can't Lose. Well, my point in it is Parker Lewis played in this movie about this kid getting kidnapped. And the kid got kidnapped and he got raised by his kidnapper as if he was his own son. And so it was like one of those like ABC after special kind of things. And so in the show, he got raised by the other kid, and then at the very end, like they find him, and then they realize, oh man, I've been, missing you all this time or whatever, and so he gets reunited with his parents. And so that was what got me to pay attention to the whole kids were getting kidnapped right and left back in the day, and that went to it because in that time period, a lot of us were latchkey kids, and so it left us wide open for something like that to happen. Let's see, Mitch. Let's see, what did Hansa put? In 2023, it will be revealed Mitch McConnell's sex toy is Zombie Joe and his dead body. Oh wow, you've taken it to a really dark level. Thomas says at Angelica PG, winter storm of the century, my house was almost buried in drifts. On my car and truck was completely buried. It looks like it took days to dig out. It's been looking a little, and that's another aspect to factor in. Like right now, California, well, in my area anyway, it's normally when it rains, it kind of just a little bit more than a little bit more than the drizzle. It's kind of a light rain. Here it's been, I guess this would be heavy rain for this area, but it's been like steady, steady to medium rain for like what would be considered the Midwest, because like sometimes the Midwest, I don't know, for those of y'all out there, y'all know how when it rains so hard you can't see, you literally, your visibility is only like maybe 10 feet. But this has been consistently raining. I can't think of a time where it's literally rained like most of the damn day. 2023, it will be revealed that the hammer is Marxist. Y'all are stupid. Y'all are stupid. Atreides, they did have child soldiers and super soldiers out there. Let me hop over, see if there's, let's see. Mary says over here on Rockfin, I was in Brazil in 1999, and the normalization of poverty there is now here, has been seeping into our acceptance. Power outage on Central Coast, which shocked the retired corporate crowd here. Small towns, so people do come together. I didn't even think about that. How many elderly people who might be on machines and things like that could affect them. I saw this one very disturbing video. I think it was in Buffalo, where a man was literally getting blown around all over the street. Woman brings him into her home and tries to help him out, and he's so frostbitten that his hands are all swollen, and it looks like it's possible he might lose one or if not both of those hands. It was really bad condition, and so if we're getting the snow and massive rain and things like that, then what happens with heat strokes? What happens with more and more of the power grid going down? I mean, well, I think we had something like 120 to like 130 like power outages, not power outages, but power grid go down. And that was a very high amount. We normally, okay, yeah, it might happen in your neighborhood, but whole entire power grids going down, that's something that it normally doesn't get to the levels that it's been getting to. So that's something that I think we all need to pay attention to. I think that's all. I got to most of my predictions. Trying to think, was there any stories that I want to bring up? Oh yeah, I know that Bill Cosby, somebody has went after him on charges again. And check my notes real quick. So yeah, Bill Cosby, Stacey Pinkerton files lawsuit against Bill Cosby for alleged sexual assault in 1986. We had North Carolina State announcer suspended after illegal aliens remark. What was it? I had a couple other things that I wanted to bring up, and I'm trying to find it real quick in the notes, but they what is it? They found a killer, the alleged killer to that massacre that happened, the 4 people in Idaho. So they have a suspect in custody. What else? think I have a couple more. Yeah, there's that. I think I was going to go into and review some of the top stories of 2022. Of course, COVID pretty much plagued most of the year, and the back and forth battles with that. Russia went into to Ukraine after, of course, NATO pushing it, but nonetheless, it did happen. Trying to remember anything else that was. Can't think of much else off the top of my head. My apologies, but I don't know. In the chat, can you guys throw out any stories that caught you all's attention this year that was something that we're missing that we haven't that we didn't cover at all? Let's see. Google translated. Let's see. Uma said, "Those involved in politics, I always do it for power." Oh, I guess I think I already put that in there. Angela said, "Ye needs Steve to translate for him." Yes, he does. So yeah, I guess we're just waiting for Bob Marley's grandson. What happened with Bob Marley's grandson? Oh, that's a good one right there. The CIA having everything to do with JFK murder, which that's one thing I'm waiting for more information on. I was one of those kids. I was always really big on the whole JFK thing and wondering like what the heck happened with JFK. And lately I've heard CIA tied in with the CIA. Oh, that's one. CIA tied in with people from a certain nation that was established after 1948. Had ties to people in Cuba, and those were the people through proxy who end up killing JFK. Watch the driver in the film Driver. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. Definitely will have to look into that. So yeah, I was waiting on Chris, and then we'll sign off. I know Extra Bulla is starting up about now, and I don't know. I said that I might hit him up and check out hopping on for a moment or two. But yeah, as far as my predictions, I just think that we're going to see this thing keep going down a notch or two more, and things are going to get weirder and weirder. Let's see. Lucy from Blue Moon Red Wine did a take on JFK today. It's good. Okay, I'll go check that out. Definitely go check that out. And then, oh yeah, for those who follow, let me find it first. Those who follow me on Hebrew Apologetics, I've been dropping quite a bit of videos lately. Actually, let's go to YouTube, and I'll show you guys what I have been working on. Oh, they're open. They're going live too. Okay. Well, let me put this on the screen. Let's go to my channel. All right, so let's put it on the screen now. So on Hebrew apologetics. This is what I have been working on. So let me pull that down. I did this video here. Why New Year's Eve is paganism. And then I guess I could show a little bit of it.
You're gonna
kick back to the intro. Hello, I'm Young Morpheus with Hebrew Apologetics with Young Morpheus and Jose. First off, I want to give all honor and glory to Heavenly Father. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem, Mashiach Yahushai. In this video here, I wanted to go into some of the paganism that goes into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. I know a lot of people feel like it's no harm, no foul. I'm just out celebrating, having a good time with my friends, or family, and family. But we need to understand why we are celebrating these different holidays, and understand that these. But I'll leave that there. That's just a little taste of it. So I don't want to rain on everybody's parade here. So that's that one. And then this is a 4-part which I was doing off of a debate that I saw from Dr. Michael Brown versus Rabbi Tovia Singer. Here, I guess I could play a little bit of this one. Show you the intro. Back it up. The church. So, and on the screen, those are a couple of quotes that he said.
In this home was an Orthodox rabbi who had spent over 1/3 of his life trying to persuade Jewish people to take a fashion rather
because
than
I more or less want you guys to hear, and Dr. Michael Brown, for those who don't know, he's very prominent in Near East languages and studies. He wrote like 19 books. He's a heavyweight in the theological community, and he's also Jewish, and so he made some very interesting claims. Let me make sure. Let's see. Yeah, he made some very interesting claims. So I'll put it. Oh, there we go. I wanted to just share like the first minute or so what he's saying.
angry type of fashion. And these were two Jews discussing Jews for Judaism. And then I called up Dr. Michael to the debate. I feel we was destroyed. Tell me how what is known as Orthodox Rabbinical Judaism today evolved.
Sure. If we think of Orthodox Judaism as traditional Judaism, right there we have the whole key. It is the religion of Jewish tradition. It is not primarily the religion of the scriptures, the religion of Moses and the prophets, but it's the religion of tradition, the traditions of the rabbis and the sages, primarily the rabbis and the sages who lived a whole generation and several generations after Jesus came and died and rose from the dead. In other words, even though traditional Judaism claims it goes all the way back to Moses, the fact of the matter is traditional Judaism as a real religion, in fact, is later than the New Testament faith and is certainly not based exclusively on the Hebrew scriptures. In fact,
Excuse me, I have to challenge you on that. What do you mean?
All right, so yeah, that's just a little taste of that one. I definitely say you guys should check it out. And then I have one more. I did a 4-part. I mean, he goes into a good job, like really breaking some stuff down and explaining some different perspectives, which many people might not know about. So let's see. GeoPro says a big thing in 2022 is the UN trying to have a worldwide agreement on how to handle future pandemics, bypassing an individual country's constitution. Africa rejected it, but it will be brought again. Yeah, I say that it definitely will be, especially Bill Gates, from his own words, say that we will have another pandemic will be right around the corner. And he predicted the last one too, amazingly. So I guess Chris is busy doing something, and I have about all that I was going to go into tonight. Hopefully for everyone, it is a safe year. And we will catch you guys again. For those who tune in Monday, we'll definitely catch you there. Let's see, Ever Read. Yeah, everybody ready for Chrislam? Yeah, I've heard about that. That's, oh goodness, that's funny. But yeah, on that note, I think I can go on ahead and end it. Yeah, I got one more. I got actually for Hebrew Apologetics, I got a bunch of stuff coming over there. And Thomas asked, did Israel ever recognize the Ethiopian Jews? Yes and no. They say that the Ethiopians have the so-called Kohanim gene, which says that they would tie to the tribe of Levi. I don't know how much I buy into the DNA science there, but as far as the Ethiopian Jews as a whole, they have to do the what is it called? They make them all have to co-sign to, I think, a year or two in the IDF, and even the ones who have done that, they're still kind of treated second class. There's a lot of racism that goes on in that country, and they literally call them Beta Israel, like second class citizens. So yeah, Thomas, Chrislam is the combination of Christianity and Islam, and that's been like a kind of a newer push that I've seen. Somebody like what was it? I think it was Steve Harvey who was pushing like Chrislam. So yeah, that's interesting. Well, Yonina, Ethiopians and us over here in America, that's a different ball game. That's a different ball game. They won't even recognize us Israelites over here. Definitely, that's not happening. My mother told me stories of when she lived over there in the 70s. Oh, I wonder, was she part of I can't remember what they're called, but it's a group. Was it Yosef Ben Israel, where they had that the community? I think they kind of still have it, but they've deported a lot of that community that sits right outside of on the outskirts of Israel. And I don't know, they have a beautiful community over there, but they definitely are not recognized. Well, and I won't say that it's not by everybody. Some people will still recognize them, but not everyone. Ben Ami, that's right, that's who it was. Lots of Hebrew Israelites become Israelites. No, because a Hebrew Israelite would literally have to forego our beliefs, and we would have to convert to being Judaized under Orthodox Jewry, and you're not getting any Hebrew Israelites to do that. That's never going to happen. Most of us are circumcised. That's not the issue. Most of us believe in keeping the Sabbath and all those things, but there's all that we would have to conform to Talmudic beliefs, and we're not doing that. We do not believe the Talmud is a book that's inspired by God in any shape of the imagination. Plus, many Hebrew Israelites believe that that land is going to be demolished soon, so we don't need to be nowhere near that land until after the return of the Messiah. Yeah, I'm telling, and the crazy thing about it, Yipper, is not only do they'll even the so-called Yemeni Jews, they get treated differently than the Ashkenazis, and so even though they might believe exactly the same, there is definite segregation which is going on even amongst people who they supposedly recognize as Jews. So if you're not a white Jew over there, you are going to get treated differently. Yeah, there is still stuff going on over there. Ben Amin tried to kill him. Oh, wow. You're going to have to DM me, Yonina, and we're going to have to go into this, or I'll have to have you on for an interview. Yeah, I know that they say that in the Talmud, that they believe that, yeah, Hamashiach is literally burning in feces in hell, and they believe his mom was a hairdresser, and it's a whole lot of racist stuff. We woke. Yeah, I was actually watching We Woke stream before I came on a little earlier. He does an amazing job, Pastor Kelly over there. Yipper says, I think about 2014, Israel recognized Sephardic Jews. Yeah, and Sephardics go all the way back, literally to Sephardics have been around since the expulsion from Spain, and they've been known about. But when Sephardics start trying to compare what they've learned and their beliefs with the Ashkenazis, and the Ashkenazis, there was beef there. They've not welcomed in the Sephardics until recent. And so, yeah, it gets interesting. They will let a secular Ashkenazi come in far before they recognize the Sephardic. He says, "My mama said we're Sephardim," which is possible. I mean, yeah, you definitely need to come over, and we need to talk about that, because I have different understandings about some of these things than some people, because there's even a dispute on who the Sephardic or Sephardim are, and that goes all the way back to the expulsion of Jews out of Spain and into various parts of Africa, not only Morocco. Hey, I have a pod to do on Wednesday. Come and check me out. Yeah, send me your info, Travis, and I definitely will come check you out. I'm definitely interested. So, yeah, on that note, I think I'm gonna shut her down. But yeah, everybody, please give me all your info, and I'll plug your shows and streams also. Thank you both, and best to everyone for 2023 from Mary. Thank you also, Mary, and thank you to everybody in the chat. Shout out to GeoPro, Uma. Let's see who else was over here on the Rockman side. David Banner, of course, Angela's on both sides. Much appreciated. Hemp Car. And then, to everybody over here, Nina, Yipper, Variant. No. I mean, I could keep going and going and going, but we don't do New Year's here, Variant. We do not celebrate New Year's. Well, because we don't believe it's a new year anyway. We don't believe the new year actually comes until March. So that's when we do our New Year's celebration. And that goes into the biblical understandings and all that. Everything is by the Bible first. So yeah, shout out to Thomas, also Yipper A. Ross, Jira Brown out there, Travius. Who else am I missing? Hamza, definitely. I think I saw Atras for a minute. Yeah, much love to everyone, and anybody I'm missing. Oh, Chris Gilman, a dingo ate me baby. Yeah, I think I got everybody. I don't want to miss. Oh, Shelly. Yeah, so for this calendar 2023, definitely want to wish everybody Happy New Year for this calendar 2023, even though we don't recognize it as an actual 2023. Made a 12-minute trip and 6-minute flight. Wasn't missing my. Oh yeah, definitely be getting ready for Passat. Oh yeah, Baba. Yes, definitely love and respect out there for Baba. I'm just telling y'all, it's technically 2023. Buckle up your seatbelts, because it's about to be a bumpy ride. That said, this has been a Political Matrix. I'm Young Morpheus. Here with my brother and colleague, Mr. Cy Lawson, signing off. Y'all all have a great and wonderful one.